Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. And in today's top stories, we're going to be talking about, yes, politics and wokeness in gaming, which isn't a mystery because, of course, all of the particular political issues, ideologies, philosophies, and worldviews has infiltrated into everything we do nowadays. However, of course, I use gaming as a way to escape from all this. But even now, even when I try to game, there's politics in it. And we're going to cover that today in this article.
All right, guys, so we're going to start it off from an Andy No tweet from last week. This was on Tuesday, June the 6th. Glendale, California police rush in and save Antifa and far-left protesters during a fight against Armenian-Americans outside a school board meeting. Many parents of immigrant background disapprove of the schools celebrating pride events. Now, I want to emphasize here to you guys, many parents, okay? As we see here, Andy gave a very coherent, very clear message of who these individuals are. They're parents. Now, the reason I wanted to bring this up is because over the weekend, this spilled into gaming. Now, if you guys are subscribers to the channel or regular viewers here on YouTube and or New Tech, you guys know that we have been covering these issues for the last 5 years. And I game to get away from this. And unfortunately, it is now spilling into gaming. So now we're going to jump over here. But I wanted you guys to recognize what I just said there. Many parents of immigrant background, because you're going to see how the left, how the progressives, how the establishment uniparty takes something as basic and simple and twist it into their narrative. So this is a tweet from Puckett. Now, a lot of the people we're going to be talking about are individuals who are involved in Twitch streaming or Twitch TV, which is very similar to YouTube, but it does live broadcasting. It involves esports, which is basically gaming, but in a competitive sport environment. He's a Hall of Fame broadcaster, player, executive producer, so forth and so on. So these individuals are going to be part of the Twitch community, but also part of the YouTube community. But these individuals have millions of followers across all these platforms. So this happened 4 blocks from my Overwatch League apartment. Americans are in a sad place right now. Let people love who they love and live your own life. So ladies and gentlemen, as we have talked about here for the last 5 years, about our culture being hijacked by these individuals who could not reconcile that Donald J. Trump had become the president, the duly elected president. They had a psychotic mental breakdown that Donald Trump had won, and so they formed into these outrage mobs and cancel culture groups. And this wokeness ideology and philosophy has infected everything in our culture, entertainment, sports, just anything and everything has now been affected by it. Now, to give you an example of what I was just saying in the previous tweet, look at what Brennan Murphy says here. Anti-LGBT protesters attack pro-LGBT demonstrators outside a Glendale, California school board meeting. No, there were parents. They weren't anti-LGBT. These aren't activists. These aren't people out in the street creating a nuisance like LGBT individual protesters, not all LGBTQ people, individuals, but the point being here, see, he had to take parents and turn them into anti-something because, of course, these individuals think in these mindsets. As people like to say, they're in a cult. They're in a perspective. They're in a mindset. They're in an ideology that anyone who is opposed to them is part of another group or activist group. And it's just simply not happening. And now, the subject of this whole topic, I'm just going to lead into this, is from FaZe NickMercs, an individual who they have made a character out of in the game, or used as an operator, and I'll explain it to you in a moment. He simply said, they should leave children alone. That's the real issue. I'm going to read it one more time so everyone understands what he says here. They should leave children alone. That's the real issue. And again, as we said, from Andy No's tweet and from what Nick says, you're going to see how they continue to twist, continue to reinterpret all of this for their particular agenda. So, from Game Rant, Call of Duty removes NickMercs bundle following streamer's controversial tweets. Really? That didn't seem very controversial to me. He's a new father. And so he's simply aligning himself with these parents, understanding that young children, kindergarten, first, second, third graders, maybe even all the way up into high school, parents should be the ones who introduce these sorts of topics or adult topics to their children, is basically what he's trying to say here, as well as these parents who are concerned about their children learning basic things. You know, when you're in kindergarten, you learn shapes and letters and numbers and associations of things in life, not hit with these big adult topics. It's absolutely absurd. Activision decides to remove the NickMercs bundle from the Call of Duty store after the controversy regarding the streamer's recent tweets. Now, to give you an understanding, when we play these games, we play certain characters or soldiers. And oftentimes in Call of Duty, they'll use celebrities and sports figures and prominent streamers and Twitch individuals like these, or even models and actors into characters that people can play because they're very popular. And most recently, they also had some of the leading soccer stars like Messi, for example, that were part of the characters that we could purchase and play the game. So Call of Duty announced that the NickMercs bundle will no longer be available in the Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone stores following the controversy surrounding the streamer's recent tweets about Pride Month. He did not say anything about Pride Month. Pride wasn't even in his sentence that I just read to you 2 times. The Call of Duty bundle dedicated to the streamer is no longer available for those who would like to purchase it. Now, those who have bought it will continue to keep it. So they've just removed it from the bundle so that we can no longer purchase it. With no information as to if it would ever be back in the game stores. Now, this is the controversy also because another prominent streamer, character as it were, or persona, Dr. Disrespect, uninstalled the game during his live stream in protest and said either they return NickMercs back to the store or they apologize. And of course, we've covered the whole Bud Light situation where all they would have had to do was to apologize, but they didn't. They doubled down, and now they are suffering massively. So Nicholas NickMercs Kalshef is a Twitch streamer and co-owner of FaZe Clan, a popular esports organization. On June 7th, the streamer reacted to a video showing anti-LGBT protesters. See, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? They're not LGBTQ protesters. They are parents. Parents. They aren't activists. Attacking pro-LGBT, I don't know why they don't include the T, but regardless. Demonstrators outside of a school board meeting that was voting on recognizing June as Pride Month. I figured most kids would be out of school by June, but maybe some schools go a little longer. Starting the pro-LGBT partisans should leave little children alone. Okay, and that's all he said. And so I repeated it again here, and you see it in this sentence. He didn't say anything about pride. He said to leave children alone. Now, you see here from Charlie Intel, this is just a gamer handle here on Twitter, an individual who covers gaming. It appears Activision has removed the NickMercs bundle from the Warzone and Warzone 2 stores, or Modern Warfare 2 stores this evening. Activision has not commented on why it has been removed, but the removal of this bundle comes a day after Nick's recent comments about LGBTQ community. He didn't say anything about them. He didn't say anything about them. He didn't say anything specifically about them. He said it should not involve children. That's what he said. So from Call of Duty, which is an Activision game, or Activision is the publisher, Call of Duty is the developer, or is the game that is developed by various other developing companies. So due to recent events, we have removed the NickMercs operator bundle from the Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone store. We are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees and our community. Well, that's fine. Nick didn't say anything about the LGBT community. He didn't say anything about Pride Month. He simply said that this should not be directed to children. It's very simple. Leave little children alone. That's all he said. And it's been repeated over and over again for people who apparently can't understand. From Polygon, Call of Duty removed NickMercs skin following streamer's anti-LGBTQ tweet. No, he didn't say that. He didn't say anything about the LGBTQ. So you guys are starting to understand the pattern here. Popular Call of Duty streamer Tim the Tapman asked for his operator bundle to be removed in support. So another individual, another prominent streamer, Tim the Tapman, here he is, and here's his bundle, as you can see here. So basically what they do is they take an individual or a character, a model, an actor, military, sports figure, and they produce their likeness as one of the operators that you can play, and then you can get a series of guns and different available things that are in the game that we can attach to weapons and our calling cards and that sort of thing. So this is Tim the Tapman, who was equally as disappointed what happened. He is also part of the FaZe Clan, I believe. And so, of course, Tim the Tapman Operator Bundle has officially been removed from the Call of Duty Warfare 2 and Warzone store. So Activision's statement on the matter. At Tim's request, we have removed the Tim the Tap Man operator bundle from the Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone store. Ironically enough, they didn't go into the details, basically supporting NickMercs. So they didn't go into the details outlining why he did it. They simply said at his request. Well, his request was very specific as to why he wanted it removed. And, excuse me, guys. And so, of course, they didn't go into any of the details. Now, fair enough to say that many of the gamers who cover Call of Duty and most gaming usually don't get into the politics and the rhetoric and the activism that goes on among the background noise that happens within these communities because, as you know, it doesn't matter where you are or who you are. Politics and activism is all in at every level of our society now. I mean, our culture has been hijacked by these individuals, but Tim specifically went into the details, and of course, that was in support of NickMercs having his bundle removed. So he asked that his be removed. Now, I don't have his statement specifically outlined, but nonetheless, here you can see NickMercs. He says here, NickMercs has been my friend for years. We went in getting our COD operators together. So, in other words, they went to Activision to have their likeness rendered, using cameras and other things to represent their likeness. It feels wrong for me to have mine and him no longer have his. In support of my friend, please remove the Tim the Tap Man bundle. So that was his comment. Activision didn't go into any of these details. They didn't share his particular tweet here to emphasize that. And of course, FaZe does Robert Redford here, his little image here. I'm not sure what movie this is from, but that's Robert Redford's little very familiar gift that everyone is probably familiar with and have seen. A gentle nod of agreement here. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is what happened over the weekend, and I thought it was very interesting and wanted to share it with you. So from what would have been a normal, regular, everyday topic that I would have covered here on the channel, being a top story involving activism and, of course, what we've been covering here for the last 5 years, has now gone into gaming. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you guys for your continued support appearing there on the channel. For those of you on YouTube, that will be the channel icon appearing there on the screen. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.